Now at 6, dozens of people today earned their citizenship status at a Southwest Missouri national monument. Plus, how some painters in Joplin today are using art as a way to improve memory. And the Pittsburgh Purple Dragons hit the road in Wichita for the 5A state tournament.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
About 60 people today were awarded their U.S. citizenship during their naturalization ceremony at George Washington Carver National Monument. This is KOAM News at 6. I'm Dow Quick. People from 29 countries attended their naturalization ceremony. Several family members attended the event to celebrate the big day for their loved ones. New citizens say the process can take several years. Their advice for people wanting to apply is to never give up.
Whenever you have a goal and it's going to look like it's tough and you can't reach it, it's going to be tough. The work that you need to do is more work than you think in your head. It requires much more work and effort, but as long as you do it, you will get to it. The feeling you get when you accomplish, nothing compares to it. So if you have a goal and it's a legit goal, go for it.
Federal court officials with the Western District of Missouri say this year they're going to have a total of 3 naturalization ceremonies. A Kansas organization today held a summit in Pittsburgh aimed at addressing food insecurity. Kansas Appleseed advocates for Kansans to work together to find solutions to problems. Today's summit focused on hunger and the high cost of groceries. Community leaders discussed ways to increase food access in southeast Kansas. Painting can be therapeutic and even improve memory. KOAM's Amber Jenkins spoke to painters who use art to remember.
The Spiva Center for the Arts hosts a weekly free painting class called Memories in the Making. This class focuses on helping those who struggle with memory loss.
The idea is to try to remember stuff from the past. And people say, well, how do you remember that? And some people say, well, you should have a photographic memory and all that, but that's, to me, it's nonsense.
Jesse McCormick has been helping people with memory loss by letting them paint for over 20 years. He does allow students to pick what they want to paint, but he recommends painting sceneries to improve memory.
You can remember what the sky looked like, what clouds look like, not specifically, but enough that you can recreate it. So it's recreation rather than remembering.
Yes, Jesse's cool. Jesse and I go way back. We met a long time ago, years ago.
Camilla first started going to these classes back in 2013 with her mom who had Alzheimer's. Now her mom isn't with us anymore, but Camilla still goes to these classes to paint and reminisce with times that she bonded with her mom.
So that time was precious. Time I would never get back. So yeah, I definitely look back on those 2 or 3 years.
Painting isn't the only thing Camilla does artistically. She also makes sculptures by commission.
Painting is secondary to what I actually do. It's just sculpture. I do animal sculpture, realistic animal sculpture.
Memories in the Making allows anyone who might be struggling with memory loss a safe and peaceful space to paint and chat. The teacher, McCormick, reminds the students to give themselves grace and stay positive if you don't remember something. Staying positive keeps you young and sharp.
Really true, I think, just from my own experience. And to some degree, we're like that all through our lives, rather than just as little kids. There's always that little kid that's still in us, going, ah!
Reporting in Joplin, Amber Jenkins, KOAM News.
Anyone and everyone is welcome to attend free of charge, no appointment needed. Memories in the Making is held every Thursday at noon in the Cornell Arts and Entertainment Center. Let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Doug Eddy for a first look at the weather.
Well, it definitely turned out to be another nice day for us today. Thursday afternoon, partly sunny skies. And once again, very similar to what we have seen over the past couple days. A few isolated thunderstorms have popped up. Most of these have been on the Kansas and the Oklahoma side, and you can actually see they're lifting off toward the north and to the west. Very hit and miss, but we are going to have a few random ones out there as we go through the next few hours. Look at our temperatures. Most of us 80 to about 82 degrees, so it feels very nice. As we go through the evening, any isolated thunderstorms, they pretty much fall apart as we lose the heating of the day. We can't rule out a random one trying to pop up after midnight, but overall, it looks like a pretty nice evening. If you're getting outside, we'll drop back through the 80s, 70s, 60s, and we'll bottom out at about 59 later on tonight. Of course, we're going to look at the holiday weekend here in just a bit.
Thanks, Doug. Hey, four staters are ready to hit the road this holiday weekend, and it turns out we're not alone. AAA predicts 42.3 million Americans will travel 50 miles or more from home this Memorial Day weekend. The summer travel season kicks off this weekend, and AAA predicts air travel will exceed pre-pandemic levels, saying this Memorial Day weekend could be the busiest at airports since 2005. On the ground, some 3.71 million people are expected to travel by car. You can expect busy highways this weekend, and according to Corporal Sam Carpenter with the Missouri State Highway Patrol, a heavier presence of law enforcement as well.
That congestion, the added people on the highways, it's going to take you probably a little bit longer to get where you're going. We want people to plan their routes, be aware of that, take their time and slow down. Speed gets people hurt in the state, so we don't want to see the high speeds. Just give yourself extra time to get to your destination.
At Joplin's 44 Petro Truck Plaza, the price of gasoline, unleaded gas, $3.17 a gallon today. Yeah, it might seem high, but AAA says the national average is still about 50 cents lower than last year at this time. Coming up, we're going to visit Peace Church for their Memorial Day ceremonies. Plus, the Fort Scott National Historic Site looks for volunteers for its symbols of sacrifice. Peace Church in Joplin today held special Memorial Day ceremonies to honor veterans buried at Peace Church Cemetery. The veterans who served our country for 5 wars: Civil War, Spanish-American War, World Wars I and II, and the Korean War. American Legion Post 13 helped with the ceremony today by planting American flags, among other ceremonies.
I think every veteran deserves that respect. They gave their life for their country at some point in time, or if they didn't die in combat, at least they were willing to put their life on the line for that. And I think we need to honor that.
That have gone on before us and that have sacrificed their lives, and we want to honor them for the patriotism that they give to this country, because without them, we wouldn't be where we're at today. We wouldn't be a free country.
Volunteers will be at Peace Church this weekend to help visitors find burial sites. Peace Church officials say volunteers are always needed. Just call ahead or visit the church at 3311 North Peace Church Road. And the Fort Scott National Historic Site invites the public to join the park in placing American flags for the Symbols of Sacrifice Field of Honor. Placing of the flags starts tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. and goes until 1 p.m. Around 7,000 flags will be planted to commemorate the ultimate sacrifice members of the U.S. Armed Forces made.
It is an extreme honor to be able to be involved in this. Without their sacrifices, we would not be the free nation we are today. This is something that goes and touches everybody's life. No matter if you've never served in the military or if you have, your life would be changed if these people hadn't done these things.
The symbols of sacrifice will be on display through Monday. Fort Scott National Historic Site is also looking for volunteers to help remove the display on Tuesday. Chief Meteorologist Doug Hetty is back with a complete look at the forecast, and a little bit later, the Columbus Titans face Bishop Ward in the quarterfinal of the Class 3A state baseball tournament.
A nice day for us today. Temperatures pretty good across the region. Most of us went into lower 80s for afternoon highs. Partly sunny skies across the region, but it is Thursday, and every Thursday our new drought tracker comes out, of course, heading into the summer months, and we do not want to get stuck in a severe drought like we did have last year. So let's go ahead and zoom in. If you live along and south of I-44, you look pretty good. It's still dry around the Joplin metro. Once you get up toward Pittsburgh, it's a moderate drought. Miami's dry, Lamar also a moderate drought, but it gets quite a bit worse once you get out into our western counties. Yates Center, Chanute, Fredonia, Neodesha, Independence, all an extreme drought, even an exceptional drought once you get out toward Elk and Chautauqua counties. Also northeastern Oklahoma dealing with the severe drought as well. We have had some isolated thunderstorms, but not very widespread. over the past few days. Temperatures right now, most of us are sitting kind of in that 80 to about 82 degree range. It's a little hazy outside. We have some smoke from fires out to the west and the upper levels of the atmosphere. So our sunset tonight is going to have a little red tint to it. But a lot of mid and upper level clouds sitting at 80, our southerly winds at about 5 to 10 miles per hour. We're going to drop back through the 70s, 60s, and I think most of us will bottom out right around 60 for an overnight low. But you can see those isolated thunderstorms which have been popping up on the Kansas and the Oklahoma side. Not too much going on in Arkansas or Missouri, but the little thunderstorms we do have, if you get stuck underneath one of them, they're going to drop some pretty heavy amounts of rain. So you can see one to the northwest of Yates Center, also one out across Chautauqua County, and then once you get into northeastern Oklahoma, kind of scattered about Bartlesville, Nowata, and then once you get down toward Tulsa. But once we lose the heating of the day, these thunderstorms will pretty much fall apart. We do have a weak little wave which is rotating through, and that's what's causing these pop-up thunderstorms over the past couple days. Let's step through your next 48 hours for you. By midnight, any thunderstorms that we do have out there, these are going to be gone. We'll be dropping back through the 60s, near 60 by morning. Again, partly sunny skies on your Friday. We should warm into the upper 70s by noon. And then once again during the afternoon, a few isolated thunderstorms, especially on the Kansas and the Oklahoma side. But everybody else looks pretty good. Tomorrow night, we clear out, cooler. We have a weak little cold front that's going to drop through. So we'll drop into the lower 50s for overnight lows. And then once we go into Saturday, a little bit cooler, but still nice. High temps into the upper 70s. Day planner for you tomorrow, 78 by noon. High temp right around 81. So look at your holiday weekend forecast, 77 on Saturday, 80 on Sunday. We could get a few thunderstorms back in here by the time we head into Memorial Day itself. But temperatures start to warm up all the way into the upper 80s by the time we head into late next week with those pop-up hit-and-miss storms.
Doug, thanks. Still ahead, we're going to hear from the Webb City baseball team as they prepare to host Kearney in the state quarterfinals this weekend. And the Columbus Titans hit the field for the first round of the 3A state tournament in Manhattan. Jacob Leonard has those highlights and more coming up next.
Well, today is the opening day of high school state baseball and softball tournaments in Kansas. We have plenty of local teams in action today across the state, starting first with the Columbus Titans in the 3A state baseball tournament. Well, the Titans are in Manhattan for the second straight season. Columbus faces Bishop Ward in the quarterfinal round today. Here, down 4-0 in the third. Colt Ungehauer pounds one up and out to left for the 2-run homer. Columbus cuts the lead to 4-2 after 3. Top of the fifth, Seth Stover on the mound for the Titans. Strikeout there. Then the floodgates open for Columbus. Bottom 5, Brett Hamilton rips one through the left side. That scores Ungehauer easily from third. At that point, it's tied at 4. Later, same inning, Jaspin Tanner delivers the go-ahead hit to left center. RBI single brings Stover in. Titans have their first lead at 5-4. Then just for good measure, Landon Midget hammers one into the left field corner. 2 more score on that. Big inning. Columbus gets 5 in the 5th to make it 8-4. Midget in there for the double. Bishop Ward makes it interesting late, but Ungehauer makes the leaping grab over there at shortstop to end it. Columbus beats Bishop Ward 9-8. Move on to the state semifinals for the second straight season. Now staying in the 3A bracket in Manhattan, Humboldt Cubs are the number 1 seed. They face Hoisington to open the tournament. That game actually still going, but Humboldt leads 4-1 in the top of the 4th. On Class 2A, pretty much a yearly tradition here. The Colgan Panthers are in the state tournament facing top-seeded Little River in round 1. Look at this. Colgan knocks off the number 1 team in the bracket 12-5. Tristan Voss drives in 3. Kyson Bennett gets a pair of RBIs. The Panthers will play in the state semifinals tomorrow in Great Bend. And we got 2 teams out of the SEK in the 4A bracket, starting with league champion Fort Scott up against Abilene and Salina today. That one just getting started with no score in the first. The winner of that one faces the winner of this one. Chanute faces Clay Center, the number 1 seed in the 4A bracket. Look at this. The Blue Comets get a shutout win, 1-0 over the Tigers. Owen Wheeler gets the lone RBI of the game for Chanute. Rhett Smith tosses a complete game shutout. It's also a busy day at state for local softball teams. We have 3 local teams in action today in their respective state brackets. Now, the Pittsburgh Purple Dragons hit the road to Wichita this morning for the 5A state tournament. Our friends, family, and fans saw them off this morning. It's Pittsburgh's first appearance at state since 2002. The Purple Dragons have earned the 6th seed, entering the tournament with a 16-6 overall record. Now, their tournament opener is tonight against the 3 seed Valley Center. In that one, game just getting started, but Pittsburgh already on the board. They're up 1-0 in the top of the first. And the Fort Scott Tigers also representing the SEK at state in the 4A softball bracket. They're up against McPherson to open the tournament. That one in a weather delay right now, but Fort Scott has a 2-1 lead in the bottom of the 5th. And finally, in Manhattan, the only local team that hasn't played yet today, Columbus Titans. They're in the state softball bracket for the first time since 1999. They face Rossville in the quarterfinals tonight. First pitch for that one set for 7 o'clock. We'll have the latest from the game right here tonight at 10. The Webb City Cardinals are back in the state quarterfinals for the 2nd straight season. The Cardinals host Kearney on Saturday, aiming to move on to the Final Four in the Missouri Class 5 state bracket. Now, last time out, Webb City beat McDonald County 2-0 on Monday to earn the Class 5 District 7 title. Cardinals are now 21-13 overall this season. Now, last year, this Webb City team saw its season end in the state quarterfinals, so they're looking forward to having another chance this weekend to get a different result and move on to the Final Four.
We played them once before earlier this year, so it was kind of nice to be able to know who your opponent is in the playoffs. Sometimes you don't know who they are. So, the approach is going to be the same as what we've had the last few weeks. We're just going to try to pitch it well, play good defense, and come up with some timely hits.
I think our pitching got us to where we're at right now because as we held Belton to 2 runs, held Mac to 0 runs, obviously held Grandview to 0 runs, and obviously those are 3 games we won to be in this position. So I think our pitching is probably a big part of why we're here right now.
I need to get a drink because we got so many teams making me read so many scores, but that's a good problem to have. Chanute and Colgan, how about that? They both knock off the #1 seeds in their state brackets.
And wasn't it great to see the community come out and support the Pittsburgh softball team, including a fire truck escort?
They've been waiting since 2002 to do that, so good day for them.
Absolutely. We'll be right back. Here's a look at what's coming up on KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. We're going to have more on that naturalization ceremony in Newton County, where about 60 people became U.S. citizens today. Plus, the suspect in an Avila, Missouri double homicide is sentenced. Those stories and a lot more tonight. KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. Let's check back with Doug for a final check of the forecast.
Any isolated thunderstorms we have out there this evening, they're going to be falling apart. We'll drop back right around 60 for an overnight low. Friday looks pretty good, 81. Some afternoon hit-and-miss storms once again, but clearing out, and holiday weekend shaping up pretty good, 77 on Saturday.
Near perfect holiday weekend. In fact, final sports note.
Pittsburgh State shortstop Gabby Schultz softball has been named an NFCA Gold Glover over there at shortstop for the Gorillas. She was also the MIAA Defensive Player of the Year, so they had a good one right now.
I guess so. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you right back here for KOAM News at 10. Let's make it a great evening.